Well, hello from New York. We're kicking off an adventure to the Kingdom of Jordan.
And this trip is kind of twofold. So we were invited by the Kingdom of Jordan's Tourism Board and Jordan Horizons Tours to come and experience their beautiful country and share it with you. And we're also going to be doing some scouting for a potential group trip there in 2025.
And then along the way, we'll not only be showing you where to go and how to plan your trip to Jordan, but also some tips and tricks of how to ball on a budget, using rewards points, credit card programs in order to get elite benefits without necessarily being elite. And that starts right here in New York. Well, this is like a gateway city, meaning that there are more frequent international flights from New York. And this also applies to like Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Chicago, Miami, where most international flights are departing from. And therefore, there are more opportunities for using frequent flyer points and miles to redeem for flights. So what we did was we took a repositioning flight on point from Charleston, South Carolina to New York City. So we stayed last night so that way we could catch our business class flight from New York, taking us all the way to Jordan.
And this hotel we also paid for in points. So out of pocket cash, it was only $40, and we used Marriott reward points to pay for the room. So there are so many different ways that you can utilize miles and points to get the best bang for your buck.
I'm excited to share because this is something that we do frequently, which is use these credit card programs in order to get access to the lounges and all that, because we also travel by RV, so we don't have the frequency of flying to really qualify for elite benefits with one singular airline.
Earning and redeeming on travel cards is great, but sometimes the benefits are even better. We love getting access to amazing airport clubs, free room upgrades, travel coverage for things like lost luggage, and so much more. If you're looking for more how-tos and advice, we highly recommend the free Daily Drop newsletter from fellow travelers Kara and Nate. We've been reading it for years, and it's full of breaking news about miles and points, new travel cards, inexpensive miles flights around the world, and awesome strategies on how to maximize all those points you'll earn. You can sign up for the free Daily Drop newsletter using the link in the description or from the QR code on the screen. Happy traveling!
All right, so we have to finish packing up and walk 15 minutes to the train station, get on a train, get on the air train, and then get to the airport.
That was very good.
Thank you. We are basically reversing exactly what we did last night, so I had some practice. All right, let's go.
Okay, it has now been 20 hours. We're still in the same clothes, and somehow we have advanced into the future by 8 hours.
And if we look tired, it's because we are very, very tired. But we are now here in Amman, in our hotel room. But let's talk about the past 20 hours and what it took to get from JFK to Amman.
Yeah, before we unpack, let's unpack. How did we get here?
So we started with our business class flight out of JFK on Lufthansa, and that was great. The food was excellent. Having so much space was so nice. It was a really fun experience.
And a completely lay flat bed. You know, I mean, that's a really great way to travel. Now, because of the credit cards that we have, we were able to also access lounges along the way with different cards. You get access to different lounges. We stuffed our faces before.
The food was excellent. So much delicious food, and just being able to like relax in a comfy seat in a beautiful setting before getting on our flight.
It's such a great de-stressor, you know, and particularly when you're going to be traveling this long, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So we boarded our flight, the Lufthansa flight, and arrived 8 hours later in Frankfurt.
We had about a 2.5 hour layover there, went to another lounge, went to the Lufthansa Senator Lounge there and had breakfast, which was delicious. So then we left the Senator Lounge and boarded our flight from Frankfurt to Vienna. And we had business class on all of our flights, but European business class is very different from the long haul flights.
Yes.
That we took over.
That's a great point. Yeah, because what we think of as business class, even in the United States, you know, you typically think of like larger seats and all that, but not in Europe. In Europe, they're just the regular economy seats and they don't fill the middle seat. So you have a window and an aisle booked, and nobody in the middle, like guaranteed. Yeah.
So then something that has never happened to us when we landed in Vienna. All of our flights were on time, but our connection was still so tight in Vienna that they came onto the intercom as we were getting ready to deplane, and they said, if you are on the flight to Amman, you need to see an agent as soon as you get off the plane.
Yeah, and there was a guy in a safety vest
waiting for us, like, as soon as we stepped off the plane.
And he said, come on, we're going to take you first to passport control, and then we're going to take you straight to your plane.
And so we never went inside the airport, which was wild. We went, you know how, like, sometimes they take your baggage and, like, gate check it, and they'll take it down those little steps? Like, we went down those little steps and followed him outside into a van, and then we're driving all around, like, the outside of the airport.
Yeah, it truly felt like a VIP experience. They made it seamless. And that was really awesome.
And our bags made it. We didn't know if the bags were going to make it, but they did, and it was great. So then we had a 3-hour flight from Vienna to Amman.
And we were fed again.
Yes, and had great food. And then we finally got in a little nap, which helped us a lot.
Don't think that you have to do this type of itinerary. There are nonstop flights from the United States right into Amman, but if you're trying to max out on quality of experience where, you know, you're flying in a business class seat for a pretty low amount of miles or points required, I would say it's hard to beat what we just did.
Welcome to Amman. We landed on time and we do hope you had an enjoyable flight with us.
And then once we landed in Amman, I was so excited. First, the airport is beautiful, it is clean, everybody is friendly, the signs are all in Arabic and English. And then through Jordan Horizons Tours, we had a completely seamless experience. We had somebody meet us with a sign with our names.
Before immigration.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was.
Because like he literally said, okay, get into this line. I will meet you once you get up to the counter, meaning like at passport control. And he answered every single question for us.
Yes, and handled our visas and everything. And then we went and got our bags, and he walked us out to meet our tour guide. And that was really fun.
Yeah, it was so great to meet the rock star Kamal. I mean, he totally has this vibe, and I'm so excited to...
He's going to be so much fun to hang out with.
I can't wait to spend a week. Yeah, I mean, we're going to spend a week with... I'm not kidding. I mean, he just exudes rock star.
Super cool, yeah.
Super cool guy. And then Abdullah, our driver, will also be with us the entire time.
And we had about a 40-ish minute drive because what we learned from Kamal on the way out here, we are here on a Thursday, and that is the last day of their week. So Friday is like
the weekend.
The weekend, yeah, the start of the weekend, and then Sunday would be day one of the new week. So there was a bit more traffic than usual coming into Amman, so we're already learning really cool things about the country and the culture, and I know it's just going to skyrocket from here with the amazing experiences we're gonna have. But for now, we're gonna go get some dinner downstairs at the hotel.
It's nice and comforting when you've traveled this long to just walk downstairs and have a great meal.
Yes. And then we can try to stay up for a little bit to beat the jet lag and then go to sleep. And we're starting at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
We will see you tomorrow.
This is the map of Jordan. This is Amman. And it's only 1 hour drive to Jerash. That's where we're going, okay? North of Amman. Amman is the capital. It has a population of almost 4.5 million people. Jordan has a population of almost 11.5 million people. Jordan became an independent country back in 1946 after the British mandate. Okay? Before that, it was called Transjordan, and before that, Jordan and the whole region was a part of the Ottoman Empire. Okay. For centuries, yes, the whole area was a part of it under the Ottoman rule until Jordan became a fully independent country back in 1946, okay?
No surprise, but an hour flew by with Kamal giving us facts and the history of Jordan. And before we knew it, we were at our first stop of the day. Welcome to Jerash. This is the most well-preserved Greco-Roman city outside of Italy. It's been nicknamed the Pompeii of the Middle East. But before we dive into one of the most visited historical sites in Jordan, it's time for more lessons with Kamal.
Any religious, cultural, political significance?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Like what?
I'm gonna guess the weave and the colors represent something.
Okay.
How you wear it also is
Means something.
significant, yes.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna guess that it is not something that's passed down, and that maybe you buy something that is significant to you, and it is your signature as well. Those are my guesses.
Well, I didn't see all of that coming, but okay. That was a lot. Anyway, they don't anymore. They don't have any religious, cultural significance.
Really?
No.
Okay.
You will find them in the market with a lot of different colors, qualities, prices, and materials. You can find it for $5 and you can find it for $300. It depends on the fabric. But the most common one that you're going to see in Jordan is red and white. Okay, that was something that was used by the royal family, those who went to the army, military back in the day, and then it became like more of a Jordanian scarf. It was red and white, okay? That's something very common. But nowadays you will find them like in so many different colors. Sometimes it's also a thing that could go with your outfit or whatever it is. No religious or cultural significance. You can wear whatever you want. It's all.
And however you want
And however you want it. Winter time, it just goes, like this. If it's cold, just like a scarf. Summertime, for me, I just put it like this. So it goes like a hoodie. Okay. And if we're in the shade, I just remove it. If we're in the sun, I just do it like that. Okay, that's it. I keep using it because I used to be a white person like you. And then I became a tour guide. That's the thing. And this city was founded in the reign of Alexander the Great. The old name of the city was called Jerash or Jerasa, and that means the place with the trees. Like there were like so many trees. Jerash is the name that was given to this place by the Arabs. This is the entrance, and this is called Adrian or Hadrian. This was built in 130 AD to honor the visit of the Emperor Hadrian. This is only the entrance. We're going to walk like for so long before we find the actual city.
The ancient city of Jerash dates back thousands of years, with evidence of first human settlement around 7500 BC. It's often called the City of 1,000 Columns, and as you approach the main square, you'll see why. The archaeological site of Jerash contains well-preserved streets, columns, amphitheaters, towers, palaces, bathhouses, and more. At its peak, it's believed that around 20,000 people lived here, and it changed hands multiple times after being constructed by Alexander the Great. Greeks, Romans, and Arabs have all lived here at one point in time, creating a unique blend of culture and architecture. The site had been lost to the elements, buried under the sand for centuries until the early 1800s, when it was rediscovered by a German traveler, which is why it's so well preserved today. Through decades of excavation work and archaeological digs that are still happening today, a large portion of the historical site has been recovered.
First stop of the day has been absolutely incredible.
It has. I believe he called it the City of 1,000 Columns. Just from the Cardo, which is like the main intersecting roads here, you can see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of columns. I once again have been reminded and learned about the difference between Ionic and Corinthian columns.
Yeah, the Corinthian columns, when you look at the tops, they're much more elaborate and the carvings are more intricate versus the Ionic.
Yeah, the Ionic, they look like they have the scrolls at the top. What an amazing site. And what an amazing amount of work that's been done to restore this.
Yeah, this is called like the Pompeii of the East, and you really do understand that. We have been to Pompeii, and I see a lot of similarities. To me, this is more beautiful with the columns and even the backdrop of the city right there. It's just breathtaking to walk around and to walk in the footsteps of something that has so much history. It's really cool to see.
And yet again, what an important opportunity to have context. This is why you have a guide. This is why you go on tours, because to walk around, sure, you're going to see things, you're going to see some columns, but to really understand the significance and the variances of the different cultures that have been on this site is really impressive.
After an impromptu bagpipe performance, yep, bagpipes. It might be hard to believe, but bagpipes are popular in Jordan due to the cultural influence of the British Mandate period that lasted 26 years. Then it was my favorite time, a coffee break.
I'm getting ready to have my very first Turkish coffee of the trip. Kamal gave me very strict instructions to not drink it all the way to the bottom because the bottom is very thick. It's like mud, so you drink about 2/3 of it and then you're done.
And you wait.
Yes.
2 or 3 minutes for it to...
Yeah, I gotta wait 2 or 3 minutes. It's just so hot. Like, you just boiled the water and everything. It smells delicious, and I'm very excited. The first of many, I think, for this trip.
What does it look like? Oh, it's very thick.
Yeah. I got mine without sugar. Kamal got his with sugar, and he said when you're ordering it, you have to tell them if you want sugar or not up front because they have to boil the water with the sugar. You don't just dump sugar in and mix it. He said it'll ruin it. Whoa. Strong. It's good.
If you just want to say a normal greeting like hi, we say marhaba.
Marhaba.
Okay. If you've been to Turkey, it's like marhaba. It's the same. So marhaba is something that we use a lot.
Okay.
Good morning is sabah al khair.
Sabah al-khair.
Yes. And we usually respond to that with sabah al nur.
Sabah al-nur.
Yes.
Okay.
What did we learn yesterday? Inshallah. Remember?
Inshallah.
Yes. God willing. You can always introduce yourself by saying Ana ismi, and that means my name is.
Ana ismi.
Yes.
Ana ismi.
Okay.
Ana ismi Caitlin.
And how do you say like please and thank you?
Okay. Thank you is shukran.
Shukran. Okay.
Okay. Easy.
Thank you. Shukran.
Shukran. And please we say law samaht.
Lo samat.
Law samaht.
Lo samat.
Okay.
Samach. Samach.
Samaht.
We're gonna have to practice.
Is that ha? Uh-huh.
No. Okay. Say it again.
Law samaht.
Lo samat.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it. Cool.
On our way back to Amman for our next historical visit, we had time for more history with Kamal, this time learning about the King and Queen of Jordan.
King Abdullah II is the one who's leading the country since 1999 after his father passed away. Who was his father?
King Abdullah.
No.
No.
This is King Abdullah II.
Yes.
His father was King Hussein.
Okay.
Okay. Can you be Abdullah and your father is Abdullah too?
Apparently not.
Yes. Apparently, okay. So yes, his father was King Hussein bin Talal, the one who was married to Queen Noor.
Yes.
He passed away back in 1999. This is Hussein. This is his son. So Hussein Abdullah Hussein is so loved, so is she. I would say he's following his father's steps, being always neutral and keeping a very good relationship with everybody. That's not an easy thing, taking into consideration the location of Jordan, surrounded by these countries here in the Middle East. That's not an easy thing, but I would say he did succeed with doing this. Okay, following his father's step. Queen Rania, she's also taking care of women's rights, children, and also education. That's why, like, a lot of people also love both of them here in this country.
So we just got to the Amman Citadel site, and they're doing the call to prayer right now, so we can hear it all throughout the city. And each mosque, Kamal was telling us, does like a different message. So you can hear different calls throughout the city right now, and it's just really neat to experience.
Welcome to Amman Citadel. This is such a rich place. We're going to see it. It's not really like a big one. Very beautiful view over the Roman theater in downtown. Hercules Temple is just behind you. This is believed to be one of the biggest Roman temples outside actually Rome, okay? The fact that earthquakes are so common here in this part of the world and they have destroyed so many parts of the city, still we can still see the remains of the beautiful pillars over there with some Corinthian-style columns, not Ionic. And we can see the remains of the temple, and then we're gonna carry on to see the rest of the city. Amman consists of 7 hills. Okay, this is one of Amman itself as a city has been inhabited for so long, continuously by so many different civilizations. If we're talking about the city as a city itself, this has been inhabited since 7000 BC. Okay, so this makes it one of the oldest cities in the world. This is one of the places where the Romans came, the Nabateans came, the ones who built Petra, the Nabateans. Greek have been here, Persian have been here, and a lot of different people and civilizations as well. So many different civilizations have lived here, so that what makes this a very rich site for archaeologists, because you can always find something related to a specific civilization, one after another. That has made this place such a rich place with a lot of the remains of it.
If you're on the hunt for, say, a 10,000-year-old painted plaster floor, or skulls with holes in them dating almost 6,000 years BC, this is the place.
Yeah, it's definitely worth going into the Jordan Archaeological Museum and seeing all of the artifacts, and these have been found throughout the area, a lot of them right here at the Amman Citadel. Things ranging all the way like from the Byzantine through the Islamic period through
Roman.
Yeah, it was very cool. Definitely worth a stop. We couldn't film or take photos.
Hopefully we found something online and we will have it covering our faces right now.
Yes.
There is also an interesting collection of coffins from 10,000 BC, and they're like clay pots. And it's really interesting because they're in two pieces. In essence, the person would be like entombed in them, and then they had handles on them, and they would lift them and then carry them to, I guess, their final resting place. Very interesting, very different style because they were vertically burying and preserving people.
I just love archaeological finds like this. It's like super cool. So outside of the archaeological museum, there's remnants of a giant statue of Hercules. It was believed to be over 30 feet tall, and you can still see like fragments of his hand and elbow here. And it was meant to show Hercules' physical strength, which we all know him for.
Amman itself has like a huge and big and different actually background when it comes to the people who actually live in it. We have Muslim people, we have Christian people, and we also have like a lot of different nationalities who work and who also live in Jordan as well, in Amman to be specific. So I would say more than maybe 55 or 60 different nationalities they do live in Amman. Amman is also a business hub. And Amman city is well known for having like a lot of banking, okay? So it is like a business hub. It is the capital of Jordan since 1946.
Who's ready for the food section of this episode? First up, we grab some roasted chestnuts from a street vendor.
So how do you eat it? Ooh, hot.
You need to open it. Just eat what's inside. It's very hot.
Yeah.
It's so hot.
I've never had a roasted chestnut.
No?
No.
Oh.
Ooh. Hot.
Yeah.
Can you believe I never had them before? Once they finally cooled down, they were great, and a nice little appetizer before the main attraction. Kamal took us to Hashem, a legendary spot in the heart of Amman. Hashem has been serving up fresh and delicious local Jordanian cuisine for 70 years. There are pictures plastered all over the walls of its famous visitors, dignitaries, and of course the king and queen, who've all stopped to grab a bite to eat here. From falafel to mutabal, an eggplant dish that is kind of similar to baba ganoush, and of course hummus and pita, we had a feast. Everything was so flavorful and delicious. Next up, the first of two desserts. Kamal led us down a side street where there were people lined up to get a slice of the world's best Knafeh.
This is more sweet.
With this one.
This one is
Okay.
but you can try it.
Okay.
You can see how it tastes like, right?
Yeah. Okay. See.
Knafeh number one.
Knafeh. Mmm.
Oh, it's really good. It's like dough and cheese and then sugar syrup that they ladle over, and then it kind of crunches up and fries on the top with the syrup. So it's like sweet, crunchy, doughy, cheesy.
Delicious.
Mm.
And I think Kamal got the message that we like to eat, so we weren't done there. Next up, Arabic ice cream.
What else makes it different and unique?
Unique. If we got it the same way like the US, it wouldn't be called Arabic ice cream.
Okay.
Okay. It's filled with pistachio and they add something to it. There are two kinds of it. The other one I didn't give for you because you wouldn't like it, to be honest. Okay, that's why I asked for this one. Forget about the other flavors with almond, chocolate, and all this stuff. But this has always been made like this way. Okay, some people go for it like in a school, and we something else, but mainly this is what we just go for it. Then it doesn't have that much sugar. Well, sugar. Yeah, it's not that much sweet.
It's not as sweet.
No, it's like much more like refreshing. Like
Yes.
fresh.
Yeah. The consistency is also, it's almost like cream cheese.
We made our way to the Roman Theater, which is the largest in Jordan. It seats 6,000 people, and it is still used today for all kinds of events, musical concerts, things like that. It's carved out of the hill, and it dates back to the 1st or 2nd century AD. And when you come through the gates, there's museums and exhibits on both sides. So we just finished walking through both, and it was really neat to see some of the artifacts and some of the outfits and things that are traditional to the area. Both inside and outside the gate, it's really cool because there's all kinds of families hanging out, like little kids like kicking soccer balls. It's Friday night, which is the equivalent of like their Saturday for us. So it's the middle of the weekend and families are just out and about and hanging out.
If you're intrigued by what you've already seen, come experience the magic of Jordan with us and travel to one of our new favorite destinations on a deluxe journey through its most iconic sites. Our Premium Jordan group trip is an incredible 10-day, 9-night adventure with top-rated operator Jordan Horizons Tours. We'll travel together by private air-conditioned vehicles all across Jordan with an English-speaking tour guide, staying in 5-star accommodations and tasting the signature dishes of local cuisine along the way. We'll visit many of the sites you've seen in this episode, plus Petra, Wadi Rum, the Dead Sea, Aqaba, and more. Our Jordan group trip is set for October 25th through November 3rd, 2025, and only a handful of spots are left. You can secure your adventure with just a $500 deposit today. Get ready for an epic experience in one of the most beautiful places on Earth. Visit newstatenomads.com/Jordan2025 to see the full details, itinerary, and book this amazing trip of a lifetime with us. Good morning. It is the second full day of our trip, and we're getting ready to say goodbye to the city of Amman and head south towards Petra. We have a lot of stops to make today on the way there, and then we'll be staying in Petra for 2 nights. So Kamal and Abdullah are waiting for us downstairs. We're going to grab all of our bags and hit the road.
This is more than 2,000 feet above sea level. If you compare it to the area around it, everything is lower than this, especially the view that we're going to see there, where the Dead Sea is. The place is very famous, well known for all the people. I'm talking about Muslim people, Christian people, and also Jewish people.
Oh, interesting.
All for the same reason.
Oh, because of Moses.
Prophet Moses.
Ah, okay.
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 So this is where the whole thing actually came from. This is like an open place for everybody. It doesn't matter who. Okay. It is believed that this is a place where he saw the promised land, but he died here before he made it there, right? This is where it's actually mentioned in the Bible that this is the place, Mount Nebo. It is also believed that he was buried here, even though until this moment it's not really known where was he buried.
We just came out of, I guess you would say it's a memorial for Moses. This dates back to the second half of the 5th century AD, and it has expanded and expanded over time, and it's incredible to go inside. They discourage any photography or video. That's why we're not showing you anything. But there are a number of mosaics which have been restored to a pristine level. In fact, one of them is very impressive and has animals which I have no idea how they knew existed, unless because of trade and because of commerce, they would have been exposed to, like zebras. Was that an ostrich?
Yeah, there was all kinds of, I think, what we would consider exotic animals. And the colors are just so vibrant and beautiful. And there was a prayer going on when we were inside, and we just sat there and listened to it for a little bit, which was really peaceful and nice to experience that.
I think it's a wonderful and interesting location to check out, particularly because of like the confluence of Christianity, Judaism, and the Muslim faith all together here. To me is very interesting to walk in the footsteps of something which I think many might consider to just be a story or a tale, but it's like, there's great belief that Moses was a real person and Moses was in fact here.
When you're here, you can look out and see some of those places. It's a little bit cloudy and foggy right now, but they do have a sign that indicates the direction of Jericho and Bethlehem, and you can look out and see the Dead Sea. Highly recommend this as a stop if you're coming here. Our next stop is a popular destination both for religious tourism and shopping. Welcome to Madaba, the Mosaic capital of Jordan. We're getting ready to go into a church that has one of the most well-known and famous mosaics here in Jordan, and it wasn't even rediscovered until the late 1800s. This is the Madaba Mosaic Map. It's the oldest surviving geographical map that depicts the Holy Land and dates back to the 6th century AD. As a new church was being built here in Madaba in 1884 on the site of an older church, the map was miraculously uncovered. Today, visitors flock to Madaba to see it with their own eyes.
21 meters, that's how big it was. Okay, 21 by almost 14 meters. This makes it really huge. More than 2 million pieces of the mosaic that were built here. And everything that was found in Jerusalem is just the way it is depicted here on the map.
Just like thousands of years ago, the art of mosaic making is alive and well throughout the country. In tandem with the Noor El Hussein Foundation, Jordan supports training for disadvantaged artists while also subsidizing shipping and freight for handicrafts, like these impressive mosaics at studios all across the country. We stopped into Peaceland Workshop to learn more about how these beautiful mosaics are made.
It's a community development program to support the local people. Her Majesty, she created this, foundation to make sure that our art is gonna be safe generation after generation, and also to support the local communities. There's like 1,000 types of, stones in general, like in the nature. But the number one stone here, it's Mount Nebo stone. And why Mount Nebo stone? Mount Nebo is considered as a holy land. So these stones are very precious stones and special stones. Tree of life, all the trees of life that we make it here is containing the Mount Nebo stone. Now we collect the stones. What the next step? It's cutting the stones, okay? To make easily for us to use it. So we have here a very special machines that cutting the stones to these lines. If you have a little bit closer look, you're gonna see there's like a difference in the diameter, right? So that's depend on what? Is depend which type of mosaics we wanna make.
As you can see, the process of designing and creating these beautiful stone mosaics is a lengthy one, with hundreds, sometimes thousands of tiny pieces being placed by hand into an intricate pattern. The artist let me try placing a few, and it was tricky work. And after the initial design is placed, there are still multiple steps after this in order to harden and glaze the pieces. We loved learning about the process, and as a cherry on top, I got to play with the adorable shop dog Bucci, a Pekingese pup who was quite fond of our camera and mics.
It's a crazy dog. Is he? Yeah, he's a bit than me.
I took home a small souvenir to remember our time in Madaba, a beautiful tree of life necklace. After another delicious meal here in Madaba, we hopped back in the van to continue our road trip. The views were incredible, and we were glad that Abdullah was driving. We made a couple of stops to take in the scenery and stretch out our legs, where I also found some more pups to pet. And about 2 hours later, we arrived at Kerak Castle, one of the largest and most impressive medieval castles in this region.
When we say it was built in the Moabite period, that's something like 800, 850 BC. And some people think that the Nabateans also came here, the ones who built Petra, 3rd, 2nd century BC. That's when the Nabateans came to the area in general. But after they left Petra, that was after 106 AD. So the Romans took over Petra in 106 AD, and that's maybe when the Nabateans came here, because they found statues and things that date back to the same period. The base of this dates back to the Moabite period, 800, 850 BC. And the actual castle, the thing that you see now, is built in 1139.
It's amazing to see just the kind of view they had up here. Like they could see in all
a lot.
directions.
We spent about an hour wandering around and going into various rooms inside the castle. It's an extremely impressive site with beautiful views out over the city.
There was nothing close to this in Jordan. This is when it comes to how big it is, the chambers, the residential units, the baths, the storages, everything is actually way much bigger. Take a look again at ventilation, even ventilation between the floors. It's not only for the last floor and that's it. No, also between the floors themselves, we also have ventilation as well.
There's also a museum here that Kamal says is quite impressive, but sadly it was closed during our visit. After walking in the footsteps of another ancient civilization, we hopped back in our adventure mobile and finished the day watching a beautiful sunset over the hills before making our way to arguably the most famous place in all of Jordan, Petra. On our next episode, we'll visit this incredible new seventh wonder of the world, seeing the treasury, climbing 800 steps to the monastery, and learning all about the ancient Nabateans who built this impressive city. We'll also take a float in the lowest and saltiest place on Earth, the Dead Sea. Then it's off to Wadi Rum, an otherworldly landscape for some desert fun, and of course, camels. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.